The Canelo draw had no impact on the ring ratings. Photo by Matt Heasley A draw generally doesn't shake things up. And that's the case with the ring ratings after the Canelo fight. Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez remained in the positions they held going into the fight in both the pinned 4-pound top 10 and in the middleweight ratings following their controversial split decision draw Saturday at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Golovkin remains number 2 pound for pound, the same for Canelo at number 7. The editorial board didn't feel GGG should supplant number 1 Andre Ward, who is coming off a knockout of Bano. 2 Sergey Kovalev. And Canelo shouldn't move up in spite of his strong performance because of consensus, which had Golovkin winning. Canelo retains his ring middleweight title because of the draw, just as Golovkin keeps his sanctioning body titles. Remember, Canelo beat the middleweight champ Miguel Cotto, who took the title from Sergio Martinez, who took it from Kelly Pavlik, who took it from Jermaine Taylor, who took it from Bernard Hopkins, who was the first ring middleweight champ after the magazine's titles were reinstituted. Some believe Canelo should never have been recognized as ring champion because the Cotto fight took place at a catchweight of 155 pounds, 5 below the division limit. For the record, Cotto Martinez was fought at a catchweight of 159. Canelo also defended the title against Amir Khan with the same 155-pound catchweight. The ring has no policy in place to prohibit catchweights in championship fights, and the editorial board as a whole believes no such a policy should be instituted. If the champion and challenger agreed to a catchweight below the division limit, it's up to them. And, finally, Canelo gave up his WBC title over a dispute with the sanctioning body, but never relinquished his ring title. Golovkin remains the number 1 rated middleweight. In other divisions, super middleweights Callum Smith number 5 last week and Andre Durrell number 4 last week switched places after Smith outpointed Eric Skoglund as part of the World Boxing Super Series on Saturday in Liverpool. Junior welterweights Viktor Postol number 1 last week outpointed Jamshid Beknejmidinov unrated last week in his comeback fight Saturday in Ukraine, but had to survive a hard knockdown to do it. Thus, he switches places with Mikey Garcia number 2 last week. Featherweights Jojo Diaz number 7 last week held his position after outpointing Laterreplacement Rafael Rivera unrated last week on the Canelo card. Also, Jesus Rojas unrated last week maintained his hot streak by stopping capable Claudio Marrero unrated last week on Friday in Las Vegas. Rojas enters at number 10. That pushes out number 9 Jorge Lara, who had been relatively inactive and had to pull out of the Diaz fight after injuring himself in a fall. Scott Quigg number 10 last week moves up 1 notch. Junior featherweight Diego De La Hoya number 6 last week looked sharp in his one-sided decision over Randy Caballero unrated last week on the Canelo card. Also, Ryosuke Iwasa unrated last week stopped Yukinori Aguni number 8 last week on Wednesday in Japan. As a result of those fights and general housekeeping, the new 122-pound top 10 looks like this: Guillermo Rigondo, Jesse Magdaleno, Ray Vargas, Diego De La Hoya, Nonito Donaire, Moises Flores, Hugo Ruiz, Daniel Roman, Ryosuke Iwasa, Julio Ceja Jr. Bantamweight Jonas Sultan unrated last week outpointed fellow Filipino Jonreal Casimero No. last week on Saturday in Cebu City. As a result, Casimero drops out and Sultan enters at number 10. Junior flyweight Kasei Tanaka number 2 last week stopped Rangsan Cheyenne Rahman rated last week on Wednesday in Japan. Thus, he supplants Pedro Guevara number 1 last week atop the list. Guevara hasn't had a notable opponent since 2015, although he's scheduled to face Kanshiro on October 22. Also, Milan Malindo number 4 last week narrowly outpointed Heki Butler number 9 last week on Saturday in the Philippines. Malindo and Ryoichi Taguchi number 3 last week change places. Butler drops 1 notch.